So today I'm bringing you the franchise series, and I actually tweeted out a few days ago. So if you don't follow my Twitter, go follow it in the description below. But I tweeted out a few days ago telling you what team I was going to be doing for the franchise series. And the reason I'm super excited about this is because we're doing the Chicago Cubs, my favorite team. So with that being said, if you're super excited about this series and you want to see some more of it, hit that like button down below. If you're new here and you like franchise content, consider hitting subscribe. And of course, in the comments section, let me know who you're doing a franchise with. And two, give me some ideas how to make this series more enjoyable. And if you're excited about the series, let me know in the comments. So hopping into this, we're doing the Cubs, and I felt like this was going to be a good team to do it. Not only because I like them, but I feel like they're at kind of like this middle of the road rebuild, retool phase. So they've got some good players, they've got some bad players, they've got some okay players, they've got some good prospects too, and I think that's going to be the whole fun part about it. So I'm using the most recent MLB roster that I guess was updated last night. And then I've added Seiya Suzuki and Braylon Marquez, and I've also tweaked a couple overalls and potentials of players, not just on the Cubs, but in the whole league. So there's that. But with that being said, I think this is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm super excited about it. I think it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be fun. So let's hop into it. Here we go with the Cubs. I am gonna keep contracts on because I wanna have that pressure of potentially getting fired. Or do I? I kind of do, but I kind of don't. Because like, what happens if I do get fired? Then I lose all that progress that we had. And I kind of want to stick this or have this series be around 4 or 5 years. I feel like that's kind of the goal for me. So do I keep the pressure of potentially getting fired? What was the goal? Reach the postseason, win the division series. I mean, that would mean like in 3 years, I'd have to somewhat get close to the World Series. Is that going to be possible with this team? I would assume so. So you know what? Let's have that pressure. Let's have that pressure of potentially getting fired with the Chicago Cubs. And then every other setting here is going to be the default setting. Everything is going to be on manual, of course. Let's hop into spring training. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to tell you the plans for this series. We're going to talk about the roster, where we're headed with this series and all that good stuff. Just kind of give you the intro to it. Let's meet the team, where we're headed, what's my plans, am I trading a lot of players, am I going crazy fantasy with it, what did I just do there? Okay, we're back. So yeah, basically what I'm gonna do and like how to make this super enjoyable. So like I have some ideas of like some storylines, some crazy things that could happen to make this a little bit more fun for you guys. I think it's gonna be really cool. Just to kind of throw you like just something out of left field, a curveball, just something completely that will just catch you off guard. So there's gonna be a lot of fun things in this franchise. Nothing like crazy or unrealistic. I do want to keep this series realistic as possible. I will probably make a trade or a signing that may not be 100% realistic just because it may be a player that I really want to add to the team. But for the most part, the trades, the signings, all those things are going to be as realistic as possible. So I want to make the series more about building the team rather than trying to win as quickly as possible. Obviously, we kept the GM contracts on, so there is that chance that I do get fired, which would suck. But for the most part, the whole point of it is trying to build up this team, have some fun, get some prospects involved, get some prospects that are currently on the team involved, draft some prospects, that kind of stuff. It's all about the team building and having some fun with it. And of course winning, but I really just want to have some fun building a team. That's like the whole point of franchise. So let's talk about the settings really quick. Trade slider is turned down 1 notch, and then everything else is left alone. Like I'm going to control all the scouting, trades, contracts, all that. Everything is in my control. So talking about the Cubs, Stroman, the big pitching signing. I don't mind it. You know, we've got 3 years, could go really well, could go really poorly. Kyle Hendricks becomes a free agent in 2 years. Okay. Actually, let's backtrack. GM goals. Let's see what we have to do in our 3-year contract. In the contract, we have to win the division series, and this year we have to win the postseason. The postseason's kind of a reach, I would think. The division series, I feel like I can do for sure. It's good to see that it's not the World Series, because the World Series, I definitely feel like that would be a little bit of a stretch in 3 years. But the postseason for this year, Speaking of postseason, if you didn't watch the Cubs rebuild that went out yesterday, go check it out. It was a good one. Something crazy happened. Seriously, just go check it out. It's on the channel. It is a must watch. But here we are. Win the division series in 3 years. I think that's possible. I definitely do. Especially with this roster and some of the players that we have coming up through the system. And the reason I kind of like the Cubs is because they do have some players that are good for right now. We have some good players that are ready for the future. And it also allows us to bring in some players, because I have a feeling that some of these players aren't going to be sticking around for the whole series. And it gives us some change because we do have some aging players. We also have some players that are like good stopgap players, players that can fill in for a season or two until some of those prospects are ready, or we're just ready to bring in someone new. So Alzolay could help us out in a few seasons, I think maybe at the top of the rotation, but for right now at the 4 or the 5, I think that's a good spot for him. Braylon Marquez, meant to be the future, has battled some injuries in the last couple of years. We'll see how he, works into the team. Justin Steele, Killian, you've got Jordan Wicks, who was last year's first round pick, and a couple other prospects sprinkled in there. But for the most part, we do kind of have a little bit of an older top half of the rotation. So kind of hoping some of these younger guys progress pretty quickly, but we may end up needing to bring in some pitchers either through trades, free agency, or through the draft. When we move to the bullpen, a lot of questions here, and a lot of uncertainties. Realistically, the only guy that could be the future is Cody Hoyer, because most of these other guys are older pitchers. So again, I feel like these are going to be guys where we're going to need to find some draft picks. We're going to have to find some free agents, maybe some trades to help us out. But for the most part right now, I think we've got an okay bullpen. Wilson, does he stay? Does he go? That's going to be one of the main storylines for the first season. Contract expires at the end of the year. Is he a trade piece at the deadline? Anything could happen in the series. So I'm excited to see how that plays out throughout the year. Yan Gomes as a backup is okay. Amaya, is he the future catcher for the Cubs? We'll see. Frank the Tank, kind of that goofy first baseman who just showed up and all of a sudden started raking. So we got him at first. Is he going to be that guy, the cult hero of the series? Is he end up going to be like a villain and does poorly? We've got Alfonso Rivas, who's kind of projected to be the backup right now. I mean, kind of first base is open. Anything could really happen. We might end up drafting some crazy good first baseman that ends up taking over. Madrigal at second. Uncertainties with him as well, with injuries and everything like that, but maybe he's our leadoff guy for the future. And then James Triantos might be the guy for the future too. I'm really high on James Triantos in real life. I'm excited to see what he can do. And so I'm kind of hoping maybe something happens with him in this series. At third base, Patrick Wisdom, a lot of uncertainty with him. He's 30, strikes out a lot, does have a great glove, does have the power. But is he really someone that we can build around for the future? We'll have to wait and see. Shortstop, Nico Horner. I don't know. And Howard might be knocking on the door very soon. We also have Preciado and Made. Left field, we have Happ and Frazier. Not really anybody for the future. So for the right now, we've got some okay guys. But again, I feel like we could use some help, especially with some prospects. Brennan Davis, this guy is the future. I've been, talking about, do we have somebody for the future? This guy's one of them. I'm super excited about Brennan Davis. He may not be a guy that ends up in season 1. He might be a late call up in season 1, but I definitely see this guy hitting the team season 2 and being a key part to the squad. PCA, Christian Franklin, Alcantara, Canario, I definitely see them in the future as well. Just depends on how quickly they develop. And then finally, right field, Seiya Suzuki. I might tone him down even more. I've brought him down from I think he was an 87 on the player that I downloaded. I think it was originally 87. I also think his potential was a 99. So I've toned him down. I'm looking at his current attributes and they're not that great. They're all kind of in the high 60s. I still might tone it down a little bit, but I think for right now, beat potential, 81 overall isn't the worst thing. And then Jason Hayward, no one in real life is going to take his contract. Is this the guy we DFA? Is this the guy that we have to keep using, even though he is a player who's struggling offensively? And what do we do with his $23 million contract? A lot of questions to be figured out with Jason Hayward. Velasquez, Hermosillo, Diekman, and Casey in the right field spot. There's a lot of question marks that need to be figured out. A lot of questions, a lot of uncertainties as well, because we do kind of have a lot of players who are unproven. That's another fun part about this Cubs team. There's just a lot of unproven players. Nico Horner, with his injuries. You know, Brennan Davis is still a young guy who hasn't had a shot in the majors. Is Seiya Suzuki going to be as good as he was in Japan? You know, is Frank the Tank really the hitter that we saw last year? Is Patrick Wisdom always going to be able to crush home runs like he did last year? A lot of uncertainties, a lot of unproven players too. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to get started with this series, and I hope you are too. Like I said, there's going to be some storylines that pop up. There's going to be some storylines that I implement that are kind of not stuff that you would normally see in a franchise, and I think this is going to be fun. I think it is. I'm super excited about it. I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. And like I said, I'm going to try to keep it as realistic as possible. There may be some crazy things that happen along the way. For the most part, I think you're really going to enjoy this series. So I hope you are excited. I hope you did enjoy today's little intro to everything. Like I said, I'm not going to go crazy with anything. I might show you some scouting along the way. I might show you some minor league stuff along the way, but this is going to be a fun series, and I'm super excited for it. So, of course, if you did, hit that like button down below. If you're new here, consider hitting subscribe. Of course, in the comments, let me know what you think about it. Are you excited about it? And what team are you going to be running for your first franchise? That's about it. I really just wanted to give you a little intro. What my plans were, what we're going to do with the team, look at the team, and that good stuff. So here we go. See you guys for the very first true episode next time on the Cubs franchise. That's about it. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Did you enjoy today's video? If you did, I've got another one for you right here. Boom. Right there. Check it out. It's going to be great. Recommend this one.